Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm diving into a critical issue that could shape the future of the American workforce: the role of artificial intelligence in our jobs and the fight to protect workers' rights. Senator Josh Hawley is urging President Trump's labor pick to take a strong stand in defending American workers as AI rapidly changes industries. But what does this mean for you? Let's break it all down.
Senator Hawley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Sonderling, nice to see you again. I enjoyed our
see
conversation
you.
the other day. I've been talking about a pro-worker framework for policy and legislation that I hope to advance in this Congress, doing common sense things like delivering transparency in the workforce, holding abusive employers accountable, making union elections fair and timely, getting fair and timely initial contracts when employees vote for a union, and boosting penalties for unfair treatment. You and I have talked about this some. You kindly offered in my office to work with me and provide technical feedback on the legislation and other forms of support. Are you willing to reaffirm that today and to help us as we try to advance in this Congress legislation that will protect workers along the lines that President Trump has talked about and also strengthen our economy?
Senator, I enjoyed our conversation. I enjoy not only your passion for the workforce, but also President Trump's vision on bringing everyone together in his administration. And as we discussed, for you or any other senator, you have the full resources of the Department of Labor for any technical assistance on any part of the bills that this Congress decides that they would like to move forward or any of the senators want to sponsor. We will be there to assist you, providing technical guidance through both our political and career staff to make sure that you all can pass legislation.
For a while now, lawmakers have been talking about the need for a pro-worker framework, something that ensures fair treatment, transparency, and protection from abusive employers. Senator Hawley has been pushing for common-sense policies, like making union elections fair and holding corporations accountable. The question now is, will the new labor pick stand by these policies? One of the biggest concerns in today's workforce is artificial intelligence. AI is advancing rapidly, and many American workers are understandably worried about losing their jobs.
Good, very good. Thank you for that. Let me ask you a little bit about artificial intelligence, which is something else that you and I discussed, and I enjoyed our conversation. You talked about your tenure at the EEOC and your role that you played helping to determine the appropriate uses for AI in hiring. What role do you think AI should play when it comes to federal hiring?
I think that we have to look at this, whether it's the federal government or the private sector, the same way. The tools that are being developed out of Silicon Valley are being used in the hiring process, not just here in the US, but across the world. And I think the US needs to obviously lead in that innovation, and we need to keep that innovation here, but how do we do that? And that's what we discussed, making sure that all these tools are designed in accordance with our longstanding laws, no matter what the use is. We talked about employment, but there's obviously a lot of different kinds of uses of artificial intelligence. And we are not going to be able to succeed as a global leader in AI without making sure that the products are developed, designed, and deployed in accordance with the laws that Congress have passed. Not new laws yet, not new government bodies, with what we have in the executive branch. And there's a lot of old laws that we can apply to this. They're not outdated. That's our job to apply.
Let me just zoom out on this a little bit and ask you more broadly. Many American workers are very concerned about losing their jobs to AI, concerns that I think are very well-founded. What's your message to American workers who feel at risk from this so-called AI revolution and think, gee, pretty soon I'm not going to have a job at all?
Well, this is a very, very important conversation, and another conversation on how we win, making sure that all workplace workers who are going to be either using these tools, subject to these tools, are not fearful that they're going to be replaced by them. And that's really working with the entire AI community, whether it's the venture capitalists, the vendors, to ensure that these products are developed, designed, and deployed with that in mind, that this is going to essentially make your job easier, better, and you could be more enjoyable and thrive more in the workplace and not having that fear of displacement. And if these tools are used to displace workers, that's a whole different conversation that we need to have before that occurs, to make sure that all protections in the workforce are built into these systems, because if they're not, then that's a part we could use law enforcement if jobs are improperly being displaced by artificial intelligence, the same way we would do if it was by humans.
Senator Hawley pointed out that while companies talk about AI improving jobs, there's a real fear it could replace them instead. And let's be honest, If companies see an opportunity to cut costs by replacing workers with AI, they probably will. So what's being done about it? The nominee for Trump's labor secretary reassured lawmakers that AI needs to be regulated under existing laws. But here's the issue: are these laws enough? Many argue that current regulations don't account for AI-driven job loss.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that answer, and I just want to register a concern here that I've registered in other contexts, which is we hear a lot about the AI revolution and how wonderful it's going to be for workers. And I hope that that's true. And I think it should be the business of this Congress to make sure it is true, because what I am not willing to see are large amounts of jobs, or really any number of good-paying jobs, ruined, destroyed, taken by AI. We have too few good-paying blue-collar jobs in this country. I don't want an AI revolution that takes away even more of those jobs. I remember when the CEO of Microsoft not so long ago was sitting where you're sitting and testifying before a different committee of which I was a member, and he said, "Oh, we should love AI. It's wonderful. Soon we will automate and take away all kinds of non-creative jobs that we really don't need in this country anymore, like everyone who might work at a service restaurant, for example. We just won't need any of those people." I said to him, that's not a utopia. That sounds to me like a dystopia. That sounds to me like you're eliminating hundreds of thousands, millions of jobs that are often the way that workers get their foot in the door, they get into the labor force. So I'm glad to hear your answers. I'm glad for your work on AI. We've got to make sure that our workers are benefiting from this technology, not being ravaged and preyed upon by this technology.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
If Congress doesn't step up, millions of jobs could be at risk. This isn't just a conversation for politicians, it affects all of us. Whether you work in retail, manufacturing, or even a corporate job, AI is coming for the workforce, and policies must be put in place now to protect American jobs. We need strong leadership that prioritizes workers' rights over corporate profits. If companies are going to use AI, they need to prove that it's improving jobs, not eliminating them. Oh, and before I continue, if you're enjoying this breakdown and want to stay updated on critical issues like this, make sure to hit that button and turn on notifications. Your support helps keep these important discussions going. So where do we go from here? Senator Hawley is making it clear that he won't stand for an AI revolution that wipes out good-paying American jobs. We need to demand policies that ensure AI works for the people, not against them. If lawmakers don't act now, we could be looking at a future where millions of hard-working Americans are left behind. What do you think? Should AI be more strictly regulated to protect workers? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your take. And don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.